Hey, what's up, cheaters? We're back with another Cheat Day show where we're living your cheat day. Each week, we speak to comedians, actors, models, authors, and all-around interesting people to discuss their eating habits and their cheating habits. Then our professional celebrity chef will make them their ultimate cheat meal on steroids. We're recording this afternoon from La Cubana on 16th and 9th in the Meatpacking District, and I'm joined this afternoon by some of my favorite people. We got Lance Weiss handling the audio.
Hello.
Comedian Lance Weiss. Comedian Alli Breen from
there.
the Bob and Tom Show and Fox Laughs and multiple other things. Chef Brian Tsao. He works at Essex and Beauty, and he also beat Bobby Filet on the Food Network. So that's pretty good. And one of my all-time favorites, just a huge inspiration. This dude's my brother, comedian, actor, writer, New York Times best-selling writer.
That's right.
Nice.
I'm also a model,
Artie.
so I cover all of it. I'm a hand model. What's going on, guys? This is unbelievable.
So excited to have you here, man.
Yeah, at La Cubana.
At
Yeah.
La Cubana. This is Carl Weese's restaurant. Carl Weese passed away. He created the podcast with us, but he wanted us to keep going.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
That's how we like to start each show. Just
Yeah.
really on a downer. Just
Let's try to come back from that. Now, again,
so Artie, you're out of jail.
yeah, right. No, I could darken that up. I mean, the difference in this neighborhood, I mean, if you want to just point to any major culture change, the Meatpacking District, I mean, you can curse, right? Yeah. I mean, holy fucking shit. The Starbucks here is the DMV of Starbucks. I just went to get a coffee. I don't know where to go. Like, where do you line up to get your registration, to renew your license, to get a cup of coffee, a $5 cup of coffee? I mean, I started partying in this area in the early 80s. I can give you a tour of where I've thrown up on these streets. And,
run.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the rent in this place. This place is beautiful.
Oh, yeah, they have actually, there's going to be a cigar lounge upstairs, and there's a nightclub in the basement they're renovating that's all going to be attached to this restaurant.
How many Cuba Libras do you have to push to pay for the chandelier? like just to pay for the chandelier, you got to move a lot of quesadillas. I can remember going to the bars in this area in the 80s and doing cocaine off a pool table, and no one cared.
Well, now the cocaine's cheaper than the nachos. So,
No, I mean, honestly, it's unbelievable. I mean, I guess it's progress.
yeah, it's an evolving neighborhood, I suppose. It's weird because it's a fashion.
It evolved. That's past tense.
It's at its peak. Yeah, I think even the Starbucks sells wine. I don't think it's even a normal Starbucks.
Yeah.
It used to be all
Starbucks Reserve.
Yeah.
It used to be all bikers. Now everyone looks like Khloe Kardashian's Asian assistant. On a cell phone going, I don't like the blue shoes. I don't like the blue shoes.
Very trendy neighborhood, so we thought a restaurant and food.
Yeah.
Great idea.
I'm in.
Yeah, you have any cheat meals this week? You do it? Like, what do you do when you indulge?
Well, I
on
just
food?
had 2 big chocolate chip cookies at Starbucks. I always do that before a meal.
That was the
Before
appetizer.
me.
I got here 8 minutes early, so I ate. I cheat. I cheat. I don't have any food rules at all. Except now I can't have alcohol because I'm on drug court probation.
So we sent Artie a questionnaire before the show, and I sent him like 7 questions. I think he answered 2, and then he made sure that I knew that absolutely no cooking wine in his food.
I can't. No, I went from being a heroin and cocaine addict to I can't have a Benadryl or I'll go to prison.
You become my mom.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I can't
become
have
my
any
mom.
Chardonnay.
No, I can't. It's like, it's really. I'm on probation on steroids right now. This drug court thing, and they link all behaviors back to drug use. You could go. My probation officer said to me once, you got to watch using your sense of humor to obtain drugs. And I said, I don't know what drug dealers you've dealt with, but none of them accept jokes for payment. Like, that ounce of cocaine I want, noodles? Knock, knock. So any manipulative behavior, they could actually send you to jail. So
That would be terrible. I'm glad you told me that. I'd hate to think that a chicken marsala sends you on the
that's
deep
what I'm
end.
saying.
That stuff would register in a drug test?
It's
You never
supposedly
know.
with the. I'm not looking to test it. I don't care.
I think
I'm not looking to find out.
I get it. I know, because my cheat days get wildly out of control. Not Artie Lange wildly out of control, but you slip. You have one thing that leads to another thing, then another thing.
No, if anything could lead to something, like if I had some buffalo milk mozzarella right now, tomorrow I'd be running guns to Cuba. It all escalates. It just escalates from here. I'd have a human trafficking ring. The badness just gets worse and worse. I'm going to sip my $5 coffee.
So, anyone else having good cheat meals this week? Lance, anything doing?
Not actually.
Nothing.
No. Artie, I do have a question though.
Go right ahead.
I have a question. Do you feel food taste any different? This is a food podcast, obviously. When you're, let's say, alcohol, drugs versus now, are you leaning toward different foods that maybe you wouldn't have, or are they tasting different, or are there foods you're escaping to? Any of those?
Well, I've completely lost the sense of smell because of my nose and drug use. So the taste might be going soon. Everything tastes different. Well, once you do a truckload of cocaine and heroin, you can't. Nothing is the same anymore. Even a slice of pizza. Like without that, I mean, I'm 9 months clean, but without that stuff in my
Outstanding
system,
too, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
amazing.
I'm about to have the AA baby. I'm 9 months clean, and listen, everything's different. Yeah. Everything's different because you change your joy levels to such a high level. Yeah. You need all that shit to be happy, and so just regular food, any simple pleasure that you used to have, is a challenge.
So our chef's coming over with your food right now. Now, you had told us you like Mexican and Italian.
Yeah.
So Chef Brian Tsao has prepared.
Ladies first.
Wow, thank you.
2 dishes for you guys.
More on the Italian.
Oh yeah, fine.
So let's see. We're gonna grab some photos of this real quick, and we're also you got to get on mic and tell us what we're eating here, bud.
Yeah. This looks unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah, this does. It's
And really go into detail on what Artie.
Yeah.
Give me a smile, buddy.
Just like mom.
Oh, that was
makes.
good. Okay, so what do we got here, Brian? Yeah, we're on.
All right,
Yeah.
so Artie, you said your cheat meal is either Mexican or Italian. I decided to focus on Italian because I grew up in Flushing, Queens before it turned into a Chinese colony.
Oh, good. Yeah, right.
And all my friends growing up were Irish and Italian. And I have a soft spot for Italian food. So this I thought would be appropriate for the season. This is a butternut squash and Italian sausage spaghetti with some kale and fresh sage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just a little hint of red chili paste.
I'm done.
Okay, thank God. I thought you were going to say wine. I was like, God damn it, no! No!
Just a little hint of methamphetamine.
I was going to smack the dish out of your face.
This is unbelievable.
Thanks, man.
I'm done talking.
Yeah. So Italian and Mexican, that's all he gave us to go on. So, and I thought it was, when he suggested this to me, I thought it was a great idea because I read your book.
Right.
Both of them. Actually, 3 of them. There's
I read Too Fat to Fish.
Too Fat to Fish,
Great
Crash
book.
and Burn, and Wanna Bet.
There you go.
I feel like there's a 4th book coming.
There will
there
be.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote it in jail. It's not going to have any kale in it. This is unreal.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
My life has been so crazy. I've had 3 bestsellers before the age of 50.
And this is a guy who didn't graduate high school. He had to go to summer school.
Right.
There you go,
Yeah,
man.
and he's got
Hey.
the New York Times bestseller list.
The questionnaire you gave me, I spent way more time on that than on my SATs.
Yeah. I didn't think we were getting any responses back. I was like,
No, I looked at it because I hate typing. My father, who was not a visionary, in 1981, I failed typing because I just did like a Ray Charles impression the entire time, and I failed. And he looked at my report card, and he said, typing's for broads. You're not going to need typing. 30 years later, the entire world is based on your ability to type.
And the keyboards have gotten smaller.
Yeah,
because
well,
everybody does it on their phone now.
And if you're texting, say you're texting texting a younger woman or any person, you fall behind in the conversation. You start answering questions that you're not you from like a conversation before. And it's like, no, I didn't say I hate your mother. I'll go to Applebee's. That's yes. Technology, the Meatpacking District changing.
well, you were a Longshoreman.
I was, yeah.
And that was honestly, like, when I read your book, there was the one thing that stuck out to me is that you didn't really talk much about the labor or how hard the work was, but you really went into detail on the lunches you guys would take.
Yeah, we had the Longshoreman Union, back then, this is the early 90s, I worked at the Orange Juice Beer in Newark. And it was all like, semi-wise guys. And the union was amazing. Amazing. We had an hour and a half for lunch, so we'd be all dirty from loading trucks and stuff. and we would go and have an hour-and-a-half lunch at a Portuguese restaurant in the down next section of Newark. This place, Tony DeCanicas, and guys in tuxedos were serving us food, and we would eat for an hour and a half, eat like this, but even worse, like bread and pasta, steak, pizzaiolo, soup de beige, all this shrimp and garlic, and then you go back and you don't want to work.
Lucky you were in the union; you didn't have to work.
Well, yeah, no. This guy who ran the company, it was for Sunkist orange juice, and he would pay the people in Brazil like $1 a month to pick the oranges, and then we would be getting $40 an hour to play 500 rummy, and he wanted to kill us. He eventually broke the union, but eating was I did way more eating than working by far. And a lot of other bad things, but I always loved. I've always loved. I grew up. My mom was real Italian, and she'd love this. Actually, that's the best compliment I could give.
Oh
you.
wow! That's a huge compliment. Thank you, man.
What's your dad?
I don't know. Dead.
Okay, cool.
Now he was
Keeping with the theme of the podcast.
okay. Well, here's one of the crazier things I found out from being on the Howard Stern show. One day, before political correctness, we wanted to bust Baba Booey's balls, the producer, because he was Sicilian. We wanted to see how much black he had in him, and like Moors, like raping everybody. And so we did the ancestry test. And I knew nothing about my old man. He was just from Newark. He could have been Italian. He could have been Irish. He could have been German. My mother's
absolutely a felon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was hard of hearing and had bad eyesight. I used to call him Felon Keller. Allie loves that one. So
Favorite.
So we did we all did the ancestry test, and I came out 25% Native American, 25% American Indian, which explains my strong liver. I've been on the liver list twice, and my liver came back both times.
It came back?
Wow.
At this point, I'm just trying to get famous enough to get a liver like Mickey Mantle. It came back. I had and my liver enzymes were way higher than my credit score for a while, and I was like, on my deathbed overnight they hit me with saline solution and it came back, and that's like Indians are known for, us Indians, I'll say. But then I hired a lawyer to try to get casino money.
I was going to say.
Yeah, because you just have to be 1/16. So the lawyer says you have to prove the tribe. I'm like, well, how the fuck am I going to do that? I go, make up a tribe. Say I'm Apache or something. I don't know. My old man's dead. I know nothing about his family. He goes, I'm Cherokee, like Liz Warren. I'm Cherokee or something. I say, I just want the money back I lost. If I get the money back I lost, that'd be fantastic. I have active attorneys working on that. So I'm a quarter Native American. My sister got the test done too.
That's a lot.
That's more than Elizabeth Warren, actually.
Yeah.
That is.
More than Elizabeth
Well, she's
Warren.
0.
Yeah. That's why I said it's more.
Yeah, but
You could go back to school for free.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Learn to type.
I'm actually very proud of that. You white people destroyed us. Much like our chef, I'm a person of color.
I can't believe this is the luckiest
I'm owed
guy I've ever met in my
reparations.
life.
Yeah.
I'm owed reparations, motherfucker.
It's the luckiest man I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's true. And my father was a climber too. So that's they built the Empire State Building, American Indians. Drunk off their ass the entire time.
I do feel like you're really lucky. From reading your book, I read Too Fat to Fish way back when. Yeah. Like, you do seem very lucky. What do you attribute that to? Because not everybody has the luck that you've had, like, over
just
and
to
over.
be alive.
Yeah. What do you
fact
attribute it to?
For the 14th time, show business is taking me back after a lot of screwed up shit. I don't know, man. I do have. My mother always said I got somebody. My mother, even when I got successful, I bought my mom a house, and she still called me a lucky idiot. She goes, "You're just a lucky idiot." I go, "Thanks, man."
Well, I'll say this about you. Having worked with you on your own podcast, and Allie was involved too, one, incredibly funny, just great memory, phenomenal memory, really good at flushing out bits, and just really, really funny. But we were sitting there one day. This is just a testament of how lucky you are. And it was like 2 days before the Super Bowl, and like I think through like your fan mail account or something like that, like some the KFC producers of a commercial wanted to use you in the KFC commercial, and they couldn't get in touch with you.
Yeah.
And they sent an email through like your fan account, and they're like, "We wanted you for the Colonel, but we couldn't get in touch with you. So, but we still want to work you in. So we're gonna just use your headshot and pay you like 10 or 20 grand."
What?
And I'm like, God.
What? They used my headshot for something. I don't know if I got that money.
He didn't even have to get out of his chair. He just sent him money.
But that's the other part about being lucky in show business. It's hard to just be lucky, but when you change your phone number every week and they still find you, that's insane. Like, I don't know how they're doing
He's got more cell phones than an ISIS fighter. It's ridiculous.
David Tell wants to rent out a theater and have a night at tribute to all my old phone numbers. And who can forget 646? Well, because I constantly have bad people in my life when you live the life I've led.
You're also a really nice guy, though, too, I would say.
Thank
the
you.
few times I've met you, you've always been very nice and very open and I think that goes a distance, you know?
Yeah, well, especially in this business, there's so many assholes. It's almost harder to be an asshole. People say, like, are you so nice to your fans? I'm like, well, the reason you have money. I don't know why you'd be an asshole to people who come up and say, I love you, but I've seen it. You know?
So, Artie, I gotta ask you this. You mentioned that your mom would like this dish a lot.
Yeah.
Did she cook a lot at home? Like what?
All the time.
All the time?
Classic, like, grew up in the 70s in North Jersey, Italian-American. She cooked all the time. My old man climbed roofs for a living, didn't make a lot of money, but we always had veal, cutlets, steak, salad, macaroni. She cooked every day.
Yeah, I mean,
and she improvises. I wanted her to write a cookbook,
right,
to try to market when I was on Stern. And she goes, I don't remember how to do this.
Wait, what would that cookbook be? Tell me some of your recipes.
Well, her cookbook for all her recipes.
Oh, all right. I thought it was gonna be yours.
No. It's just I want her
now
to do it.
Remember, when you're baking down ketamine, it's important to have a good cookie sheet.
That is important. But she had all these amazing dishes they really tasted unique, and she goes, I don't remember how I do it. She does not. She just improvises.
I have the same thing with my mom. Every time I ask her for a recipe, because the whole reason why I cook is because of my mom and my grandma.
Right.
And every time I call her up, ask her for a recipe, she's like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
right.
and I get nowhere. So I actually have to go to her house with measuring spoons and cups and a scale. And actually go, stop, wait, I got to measure that, and then and write down every single thing. So that's how I got my bulgogi beef recipe, is by side by side with her, measuring every single ingredient one by one. It was like an hour and a half process.
Yeah, no, see, my mother was not that precise at all. She wouldn't know what to tell you. She goes, I just throw shit in there, and it's good.
Alli,
do
you cook?
That cookbook. Never. No.
True story. Alli once ruined a stove by putting a microwavable dinner in the oven, and it melted the plastic into the stove. Whole stove.
Well, the whole stove, because you couldn't clear up the plastic. Every time I turned the stove on, it would smell like burnt rubber. I had to replace the whole
That's very Boston Irish.
Yeah, that really is.
Alli's single, everybody. Unmarried. This
I dated an Italian girl for a long time whose family were great cooks. She didn't know how to do anything. She didn't know the recipe for ice.
It's too convenient now to just go to the store. It takes so long to cook something.
Yeah, I know,
it tastes
especially
so much better,
in New York. Who the fuck would even sit down and try to cook something? But you gotta love to do it.
So impressed.
You gotta love to. I mean, anyone who cooks,
I can cook a thing or two, and I live in New York.
Anyone who cooks loves to do it.
Yeah. But
who's good at it loves to do it.
You're married. Does your wife cook or you cook? And if your wife cooks for you, are you shitty? Are you like, eh?
I'm a little shitty to her. That's for damn sure. I'm always like, this just doesn't have enough salt. This could have been seared a little more. And
women love that.
Yeah.
Why don't you just tell her she looks fat too? Now, women love when you critique their cooking on that level. This could use a little more salt.
Her and I have been together for 8 years now, and I can count on two hands how many times I've cooked. Because it's always Thanksgiving. I always cook Thanksgiving. We've been together for 8 years. It's been less than 10 digits. So that's the only time I really cook at home. That and honey bunches of oats. I put together a mean bowl of cereal.
The last time I fucked up in my career, like about 10 years ago, and I came back, I went to Jim Florentine's wedding down the shore, and Dice Clay was there, and he sits down. And you talk about like old school with women and cooking. He sits down and he goes, come here, I'm going to talk to you like Andrew, not like Dice. You want to give me life advice? So I go, well, Andrew sounds a lot like Dice. So he sits me down. This is one of the funniest conversations. I don't know what he was talking about. He goes, broads will fucking destroy you. He goes, my second wife was a disaster. I go, you got 8 sisters. You don't know how to cook a fucking chicken. And I'm like, how is this helping me? Because a woman doesn't know how to cook a chicken. Right in the middle of him talking to me, a fire truck went by. And he got all pissed off because the siren interrupted. He went, yeah, you got to tell everybody you're putting out the fire? Yay, we're putting out the fire. You're just trying to get laid. Just put the fire out. I got a siren. I'm putting out the fire. Yay. And then that's where the life advice ended. But, again, my mother always said it's sexy when a man knows how to cook.
Well,
especially meth.
Definitely.
My wife tells me all the time that I honeypotted her because she was working at a liquor license agency. And she was the.
What's honeypot, like catfishing?
I was just, I went in there with my chef coat and made sure, I was nice and pristine and be like, hey, what's going on? And then she tells me all the time, she's like, when I first met you, I thought you had money. And then you moved into my house without asking. You moved into my apartment without asking. You just showed up with your bag and asked if you could crash, and you never left.
Right.
And
it's
then
like the Odd Couple.
Then you started criticizing my food.
You started
like
criticizing my food. And I swear to you, when I proposed to her, she actually hesitated. Right.
Yeah.
And I asked her like years later, I was like, listen, don't think I didn't notice that you didn't hesitate when you didn't say yes right away. I was like, what the hell was going through your mind? Like, we're fine now. We're obviously together. We have a wonderful daughter. We're stuck together, right?
It sounds great.
She said, well, at that time, you're pretty fucking crazy, and I thought you would kill yourself if I said no. So I said yes, and I was like, oh, great. That's,
chefs are crazy.
So you were like stalking her.
No, chefs are like whatever you think comedians are. Chefs are 10 times worse.
Now, I knew Anthony Bourdain pretty well. I met Anthony Bourdain. I met Anthony Bourdain in London.
I never had the honor.
In 2001, and he took me. I met him through friends of mine. I was doing a movie with Will Ferrell and Cuba Gooding Jr., and I went to London with the girl in the movie. What the fuck's her name? Puerto Rican chick. Anyway, she's in the Rush Hour movies. She was interviewing to be the new James Bond girl, and a friend of hers knew Anthony Bourdain. We had dinner. And Bourdain said, "I'll take you to get great pizza in London," which is like a rare thing. Mm-hmm. And he was you could just tell from talking to him, he was one of the most, and then I roasted him years later. And he was one of the most entertaining guys just to talk to. Mm-hmm. When I met him, he was clean, but I'll never forget this. We were talking in London. This was like the summer of 2001. And I happened to tell him that my old man had died on St. Patrick's Day. I don't know, just in talking. And 2 years later, when I was struggling publicly with drugs, he texted me. He got my number through a friend, and a mutual friend, and he texted me on St. Patrick's Day, thinking about your dad. I hope you're all right. Just out of nowhere.
Wow.
This is a real nice guy. But like that classic, like chefs are rock stars. They are. They live like rock stars.
I was definitely living a whatever lifestyle you want to call it at that time. It was a lot more booze.
It's called fun.
For sure. Yeah. At that time, that was my first restaurant, which also went under. It's the only restaurant in my career that went under. Was my first restaurant. But you're working 7 days a week.
It's hours. Crazy.
I was making maybe $50, paying myself maybe $50 a day just to like get by, pay for gas and things like that. But everything went
$50 a day to run a restaurant here.
Just to put everything back into the business to keep people employed and try to
you need a Jew.
I just like to remind everyone he's 25% Native American.
That's right. I can get away with anything.
Native American, folks.
I can say anything I want. I'm owed reparations. My people were slaughtered. But it seems like how old are you? You seem like a young guy.
I'm 35 this year. I just turned 35 last month.
Well, they say Asian don't crack.
Yeah.
Do they say that?
I don't know. Sure. Yeah.
I can say it. I'm happy for you. I mean, clearly you're talented.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. This doesn't seem like Papa John's.
Well,
and they have $1 trillion. Right. Yeah. And Papa John's has $1 trillion, right?
Listen, some of my greatest memories growing up in Flushing, Queens, with my old best friend. His name's Michael Caviello. He used to invite me to his uncle's Christmas parties every year, and those are some of my, aside from what my grandma would cook and from what my mom would cook, those were by far some of the greatest food memories I've ever had. Just the amount just the amount of food that was there. It was my first time having calamari. It was my first time having rabbit. It was my first time just having all types of things that I never got to try at home, and I ate some fucked up things at home too.
Well, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen what you want to take me to. I'm like, oh, God, you want to take me to a Korean place? They sell like chicken feet. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No,
you want to get jerked off at a Korean place.
Native American.
Well, they give you
Artie
chicken
Lange.
feet and then they jerk you off afterwards. That's what I was trying
I went
to
to
take
this.
them
I went to this place in Toronto to get happy ending, and it was Korean. And I was laying on the table, and it was really the most awkward thing. This woman who was washing dishes in a restaurant next to her. She was like 85 years old. She came out. She had an apron on from washing dishes, and she jerked me off. It took like 2 seconds. She was like the Babe Ruth of hand jobs. She just went. She made that noise from. From
baseball references today.
She made that
Boy.
noise from the deer hunter. She went on the ball, and you just came.
Well, I mean, she had dish soap on her hands.
You know what?
It's the
Way
only
to take
rub
down
and
her. Way to take down her
one
achievement.
job fed into the other. One,
the only
A
hand job with
typical
bubbles.
cynical comic. She's amazing at something, and you're just pointing out how it's easier for her because she washes dishes for a living. No, but to think that you went into making food when you from an unappetizing place called Flushing. Flushing is like a disgusting name. And
it is a fucking disgusting name. Like so I used to live in mainland China all the time. I would meet people. Yeah, when I'd meet new people, I'd say I'm from Flushing, Queens, and they're like, Flushing? I'd be like, yeah, like flushing a toilet. I'm like, oh, I understand.
Right. How else are you going to describe it? Like, what do you mean flushing? Well, there's one other analogy I have: flushing a toilet.
Allie's been to China several times, right?
Yeah, I have the food. I mean, if you want to talk about weird food, there's insects. And
Wait, what were you doing in China?
when I was in
She works for the
college-
NBA. She used to be the point guard for the Celtics.
They love me over there. I'm very popular. No, I went a college trip. I studied
okay.
abroad for for a year.
And you
I
did
went all through
comedy?
Southeast Asia. Yeah, and I did comedy. That's Hong Kong.
In China?
In Hong Kong, yeah. I've never done it in mainland China.
No, you don't want to do comedy in mainland
Yeah,
China.
I
You say
think you
one
get
wrong thing,
killed
Mao
for-
Zedong's cousins are coming for you.
Yeah.
The Knicks did comedy in China. They played basketball. That's an amazing experience. So I did stand up in Afghanistan for the
Wow.
troops. Again, the different cultures. Like, but the food there was. We ate on the barrack. The army base that they built there. They built it's so funny. Right in the middle. You saw how much money the army has. Right in the middle of Kandahar, Afghanistan. They just built Cleveland. It's just. There's Burger King, there's a cheesecake
nuts.
factory, and that's where
Well,
we
I
ate.
experienced.
Yeah.
I experienced.
There was a Burger
the
King,
reverse.
right? Yeah.
I thought there was like a mess hall. I didn't think they brought over franchises.
No, they
Depends on
did.
Which,
No, so
base,
You can get like a Whopper with cheese.
So my wife, she used to be a structural engineer, and she did a project in the Bahamas.
The story's already bullshit.
for a new resort project, and the main investor was a Chinese company. So one of the conditions for this Chinese company to invest was, if I'm going to invest in this, you have to use my construction company, right?
Right.
Total racket. They basically
Wait, something in China was corrupt?
they basically opened up like a Chinatown overnight.
Right.
And my wife, she would take me to the job site just to check it out. And there were, it wasn't just, places for someone to sleep and showers. There were massage parlors.
Oh, yeah.
There were places to get your hair. There were restaurants. And all these people that worked for this construction company, they weren't allowed to leave the compound. So, like, on the weekends, they would sneak over the gate to go catch a dolphin show at one of those.
It's basically hell
resorts.
on
Yeah.
earth.
Yeah, basically hell on earth. It was
Yeah.
the craziest thing I'd ever seen.
2 Romanian Marines. There were in Kandahar. There was a shit pond, right in the middle. Speaking of Flushing, right in the middle there was like a reservoir of shit. Like that's where all the shit from the compound.
Yeah. Okay, so you were actually saying there was a shit. You weren't
was
saying there was a
legitimately-
shitty pond.
No, there was a shit pond, a pond of shit, and these 2 Romanian Marines bet each other they could swim across. One guy drowned in the shit, and I asked him, one of the Marines, I go, "Why did they do it?" He just went, "Oh yeah, the Romanians are crazy." But when you watch it, like she was like Allie was saying, bugs and stuff. You see what other cultures are, and you don't realize how amazing a Big Mac and fries is. Like that. It's hard to beat. This is amazing, but what's better than a
I
Big
just
Mac?
love the fact that they had the Burger King and McDonald's in Afghanistan, and there's some
Yeah.
kid making minimum wage. It's like, where are you transferring me to?
Right, same
What?
kids, same retarded kid from the commercial.
I got to go to Afghanistan?
It's like the same retarded kid working the fryers in Missouri. When you see other cultures, what they eat, and you appreciate this because even in the Midwest, like anything in New York, man, is San Francisco, L.A., where all the people with talent want to go. you can't get this in Denver, in
North
my
Dakota.
opinion.
Yeah. Anytime I've played at places like North Dakota on a Saturday in North Dakota, you can't get into McDonald's. There's a line.
Yeah,
There's a line.
Oh,
to
of
get
course.
in.
Yeah, Cheesecake Factory in St. Louis. That's the biggest restaurant.
I
there.
never ate more Big Macs and fried chicken sandwiches than I did when I lived in Beijing because the family I was living with, they're like, it's this big fat American kid. What do we feed him? Well, let's feed him McDonald's. So they
Yeah.
bring me like 4 or 5 McDonald's burgers.
Give him
and
a
then the
video
next day would
game.
be KFC. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I might have told you this, Allie. The first time I worked Houston, a guy picked me up at the airport. It was like May in Houston. It was 400 degrees. And this guy, this big, like 300-pound redneck was in a flannel. And he goes, where are you from, New York? In the cab. And I said, yeah. He goes, we got a place here. It's just like Greenwich Village, the Galleria. And it was a mall.
Oh God.
He sent me
Just
to
like
a
New
mall.
York.
Yeah, just like Greenwich Village.
People's perceptions.
Oh.
You know, for chefs, do you guys change the cuisine? Did you stick with one cuisine the entire time you've been a chef, or do you guys change?
So I went to culinary school, and in culinary school, if you go to culinary school in the States, it's mainly Western cuisine based, so primarily French and Italian. You do take an Asian class where you'll maybe do a week of Indian cuisine, a week of Chinese cuisine, Korean cuisine, things like that. You don't really go in depth. Culinary school is really just to give you your foundation, and then you get your chops in the field. For me, I grew up with Asian cuisine, and I always kind of leaned towards that. Everything I do is some kind of fusion. That may be kind of a dirty word now, but for me, like to cook something like this, an Italian dish, I just happen to have a soft spot in my heart for authentic Italian cuisine because I grew up with so many Italians, when I was young in Flushing.
Well, yeah. I was in Paris, France. I got arrested in Paris, France.
I'm noticing a pattern.
Yeah,
That was jail food, by the way.
Yeah, I was trying to get there.
The food in a Paris jail is like way better than than Milwaukee, without question. The food there and everywhere was astonishing.
Wow, you should start a jail Yelp for food.
I was going to say, how's American jail food?
Terrible. Awful. It's unimaginable. The jail I was in for 2 months has passed. Essex County Jail. Everyone's getting food poisoning. Yeah, it was really bad.
Do they give you special meals ever, like for 2 months?
Well, a lot of people pretend they pretend they're a religion that they're really not to get meals.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot of kosher stuff, but Muslim, a lot of Muslim. Okay. You got to have special meals, like on an airplane or something. But a lot of guys, my cellmate was a Muslim, and he prayed 5 times a day. And I noticed he was way more into the food than the praying. Sometimes it was 2 times, 3 times. Now the food is just absolutely...
Is it enough food? Because I see some of those prison shows. I'm like, it just looks like a couple little sides. Like, are you
no, but
hungry?
you could order off commissary. They have
Okay.
the commissary where you just go all junk food and shit.
Yeah.
But I try not to do that when I go to jail because I want to
When you went to jail,
I like it. Yeah, you talk about it like it's a vacation. When I do my jail time each year, I like to.
Unfortunately,
I prefer
that's
the south of France for
that's
prison.
what it's
but-
becoming. That's what it's becoming. I like to not get anything off the commissary because one, it could get robbed from you. Secondly, I like to really make myself insanely hungry, so I'll eat bark by the time the food gets there. So I'm looking forward to the meals.
Okay.
You got to look forward to the meals.
How do guys get jacked then? Like you got to eat more food to get ripped and jacked.
They're eating other smaller inmates.
Yeah, they're also just naturally in shape. The pull-ups, these guys are doing pull-ups. I was playing basketball for a while because I could play basketball. I got good hand-eye coordination, but these guys do these pull-ups. It's insane. It's insane how in good shape they are. And I was in my cell 23 hours a day. I had 1 hour out because I was in protective custody. If you're
That's like a solitary confinement?
If you're any sort of public figure, you have to go to protective custody. So, but you're with the worst of the worst because the other people are murderers or, rats, serial killers, arsonists, rapists.
You don't see them either, though, right?
Well, if 1 hour a day, you're in a cage area
Next
with
to
them.
them.
We have rec time.
Okay.
And a lot of the guys, you'll go in the rec area and everybody's just, acting tough because you can't, if you ask somebody a favor, they don't do it because you look like a pussy if you do someone a favor. But these guys they all do pull-ups. And this one kid, I remember, I said, well, he looks like a nice guy. He got done with the pull-ups and he started going like this. Well, beat the murder case. I was like, all right.
Are you scared when you're in there?
Not lately because the COs are all real cool.
And
they take care of me. They protect me.
What about your mind? If you're, I mean, as comedians, we spend a lot of time alone in general. But what's 23 hours a day? What's your mind like? What happens?
Terrible. You're looking forward to anything that breaks it up.
Okay, so the meal.
I wrote a rough draft for a fourth book in there actually.
Yeah.
I read a lot. But you know, and the guys up on that tier, man, they're losing their minds. You know, I was there for 2 months, and some guys are there for like a year waiting for a trial.
Yeah.
County jail in some ways is worse than prison because everybody's restless. You don't know when you're getting out, what's up with your case, if you're going to get found guilty, innocent. Lawyers are pissing people off. In prison, everybody, you know, they settle in. They're going to be there. It's a society.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so.
Have you been to prison?
No. I never went down to state prison. Give me time, I'll do it. You know, I mean, there's a chance.
He's working his way up.
Yeah, or down. But county bids are worse in a lot of ways. It's everybody's fighting. Everybody fights. A lot of drugs come in there.
Are there any positives? Because I always thought I could.
Yeah, HIV.
I could use a month of a
lot of HIV positives. Yeah.
I could use that.
Again, I'm Native American. I could say that. My people were slaughtered.
I wouldn't mind like a month of like working out and eating and like reflecting and writing. Like, is that happening? Like you said, you wrote a book. That's huge.
I wouldn't mind that in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
At the Ritz-Carlton. The way Spielberg does it.
Yeah.
At Essex County Jail, I don't know. I mean, look, I was actually, I said to myself, I have the one profession where I could actually make money in here. Well, I mean, I could write. I wrote a lot of stand-up.
Sure, ideas.
You get stories.
Okay, so the food's so bad there. First meal when you're coming out. 2 months
Yeah,
after
what
that,
was-
what
yeah,
do you
what was
go?
your
What are you
first meal
going
out?
straight for?
Pussy. My people were slaughtered. That's just right. Take a shower, get some pussy. You do miss that one in jail. Well, listen. My next one's going to be after I get out of jail. Next time I'm coming for this dish. That's the best compliment I could give you. No, I try to go right home, and my mom makes like sausage and peppers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that because that's a familiarity? You feel it feels nice. It's home. It feels good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The people when you come out of jail, the first thing you do usually you take a nice shower. Although the water pressure has gotten a lot better at Essex County Jail.
He should yelp prisons. You're right.
Honestly, it's a good.
So
It
your
really
mom,
has.
so your
Can
mom
you
will make
shower
you
whenever
sausage
you-
and peppers.
Yeah, sausage and peppers, steak and peppers, a lot potatoes and eggs, fish, galamad, stuff like that. You know, galamad,
That's the
scungeel
only
salad.
That's sausage and peppers is the only Italian food my dad. Well, the only food outside of Chinese food that my dad will eat. He'll be like,
Yeah.
Italians, a lot of gangsters, but very good sausage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of very good sausage at Essex County Jail.
What do they serve you in Paris prison or jail? Or
It was actually like it was like a chicken cordon bleu or something. It was like it had like a sauce on it.
Crepes. For
I mean,
dessert.
yeah, it was really like decent food. And I got into a fight with the cops. That's why I drunk. That's why I went to jail. I was screaming at my fiance, and it's a long story. But it was right on the Champs-Élysées, the jail. So my shirt came off when I was fighting the police. So they gave me they let me out the next morning just to go back to my hotel. So I'm shirtless by the Eiffel Tower. Like trying to get hitchhiking.
That is so funny.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. So I took an hour and a half to get a fucking cab, and the cab driver's like, "Monsieur, you're having a bad day." I'm like, "Yeah, Monsieur."
Monsieur hasn't read the books.
Yeah. But yeah, my buddy's girlfriend there was bad. We had the doorman at my hotel. Actually, the great Dan Filato knows Bill Murray, and Bill Murray recommended this hotel, the Hotel Lutetia, which was a great hotel because that's where the Nazis stayed when they took over Paris. Which you know,
you don't hear about that on the History
Yeah,
Channel.
no, Germans do.
You hear about a lot of things. You don't hear about the
Usually rate a
hotels.
hotel, yeah.
They do. The Nazis stayed there, like Rex Marshall Goering and the Luftwaffe stayed there. But so the doorman there was this really funny French guy, and my buddy's my buddy's girlfriend was such a pain in the ass. He used to call her La Cunt. He goes, guess who's back? La Cunt. I gave him $5,000. My fiance pissed me off so bad twice. This is how good the service was at this hotel. Bill Murray said, I know Artie gets in trouble, and any American type of celebrity they take care of. 2 separate times, I threw my girlfriend out of the room, and I methodically got drunk and threw all of her clothes out onto the boulevard. I threw them out, all the clothes out the window. So people were like, blouses were falling on people. The doormen folded them as if I sent them out to get dry cleaned and brought them back to my room twice. The chaos cops came. I got arrested. Like, I put this guy through hell, the head doorman. And at the end, I gave him $5,000 as a tip.
I'm just curious. You're so drunk by the third time when the clothes come back folded. Do you think you didn't do it at all?
It was the
What's going on here?
The second time, I did it twice.
This place is haunted.
But both times, he goes, sir, your clothes. And at the end, I gave him $5,000, an American. And he said, okay, monsieur, till next time. Till next time.
I got a question, Artie.
How does Dan Filato know Bill Murray?
From Chicago.
What, Dan?
From Chicago, yeah, Dan knows Bill Murray.
Boy.
I got a question. So you travel all the world for performing and whatnot. You've gotten I'm more of a regular person, right? You've gotten to eat.
I'm clearly not a regular person.
But you've gotten to eat at you've traveled.
I have. I know.
What are maybe 1 or 2 memorable meals that that you stick out to you as like, wow?
I'll give you one in
incredible.
Paris. Actually, before me and my girlfriend got into World War III there, she found this little cafe in a corner of Paris. They closed the whole place for us at 11 o'clock, and it was one of the best. The veal was like butter, one of the best meals I ever had in my life. They also have a cruise in Paris around the river, the Seine, where you go right by the Eiffel Tower, and the food, and it's like one of these shitty cruises you see that goes around Manhattan.
Yeah.
Picture like the Circle Line with, picture the Circle Line with 5-star food. London, Anthony Bourdain, where Anthony Bourdain took me to get pizza in London. You can't find any Italian food in London. He took me to get pizza at this place in where a lot of Italians live in London, and it was unbelievable. A lot of great. But right here in New York, L.A.
What are some of the places in New York you like?
There's a place on 2nd Ave and 5th called Frank's. It's an Italian place. They make you sit at the bar and you get like supersad and cheese. I think it's still there. I haven't been there in a few years, but it's on 2nd Ave and East 5th. It's called Frank's. Little like hole in the wall, but you eat like supersad and mortadella and provolone at the bar, and then you sit down and they cook. They got a big grill. They grill steak with arugula salad in the same plate, which is how my Italian mother, she always puts a salad in the same plate of stuff, Veal, it's great. I love it. The first time I went to Nobu, Howard Stern took me to Nobu. Me, Howard Stern, and Ozzy Osbourne, which is one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me.
Just a typical Friday night gang.
And my girlfriend Dana at the time, Ozzy and Sharon and Howard and Beth, and Ozzy was in the bathroom, and at the Nobu downtown they have to help you pee. They have tape of the ocean. They have like waves and stuff. Yeah. So Ozzy comes back to the table. Now we're in the center table. It's that group of people I just described. Everyone's looking at us. Ozzy starts screaming at Sharon. Sharon, there's a fucking ocean in the bathroom. She goes, Ozzy, that's just a tape. There's a fucking ocean in the bathroom. He goes, come here, screaming to the attendant. Tell her there's a fucking ocean in the bathroom. And me and my girlfriend, I'm kicking her foot. I couldn't stop fucking laughing. He told a story about how he goes, I got a whore when I was in Japan, and I didn't realize Sharon was with me. And I brought the whore up to the suite in Tokyo, and Sharon was there, and she took a I guess Ozzy trying to be funny. She took a painting off the wall, and she hit me in the head with the painting, and my head went right through the painting, and I said, I've been framed. That was his big joke. Ozzy can make anything fun.
You got any steakhouses in New York you like?
I used to be a big Luger's guy. I've been there in a while.
They just got raked over the coals by the New York Times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. I always liked anywhere where a Mafia guy gets shot. You can't
Sparks.
go wrong. Yeah, Sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was tragic they killed him on the way in. You know, he didn't get that meal.
Right.
Like he was really looking forward to that steak.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rayo's. Didn't someone get shot at Rayo's?
Yeah. Everyone.
Yeah. That's Thursday.
Right. Yeah, that's even slipped into other ethnicity gangsters are getting shot there, not just Italians. Everyone gets shot. I get Rayo's is closed though. The guy who owned Rayo's, Anthony, was in my movie Beer League. He's also an actor, and he was a real intense actor. He owned Rayo's, so I ate there once, one of the 4 tables. Yeah, there's just 4 tables there. If you go to Hoboken, where I live, Augustino's, highly recommend it. It's beautiful. It's got like 8 tables, and you can eat at the bar. It's unbelievable. A very Italian meal is pork chops with vinegar peppers. They have that.
Never had that.
Pork. That's a very Italian meal. And then Arthur Avenue in the Bronx.
Do you go to Arthur Avenue a lot?
Yeah, Pasquale Rigoletto's, Dominic's for artichokes. We used to go before Yankee games all the time.
You got anything you like in Little Italy?
That's gotten very commercial, unfortunately. Really commercial. I mean, like people from Indiana love it, stuff like that. But there was a place back in the day called La Mila right on Mulberry. It might still be there, but you didn't order. You just the chefs would just come out with a mountain of food.
Yeah.
And they would put it wherever there was room.
Yeah, I've been there.
And then that's what you had to eat.
Yeah. You could say yes or no. Yeah. That's all you could say. They would you want first course, okay, and they'd bring whatever it is, and you want another course, okay, and then they just keep coming. Yeah,
and then if you want the check, they figure it out with a pencil on the back of something a score sheet from the track from Aqueduct, and they go, "You pay cash, no tax." They just scream out.
Last time I had a meal like that was at Monty's. Right down, Monty's not too far from the cellar.
Well, again, Umberto's where Crazy Joe Gallo got shot in 1973.
Still there?
That Umberto's is there, I think.
I've been there. Yeah, that one's still there.
But that went downhill too. That went downhill. But Crazy Joe Gallo got shot there. Crazy Joe Gallo had a lion in his basement in Brooklyn. Suppose he had a lion. So if you owed him money, he took you to see the lion.
Well, he got killed because he killed the guy in Columbus Circle.
He had Joe Colombo killed.
Yep, in Columbus Circle.
Yeah, in Colombo and Columbus Circle.
It was
right by the Trump Tower.
Yeah, it was the Italian Pride Parade or something like that.
Which is what Taxi Driver is loosely based on. That De Niro tries to shoot the guy.
Speaking of which, you're a former taxi driver.
I am. Yeah.
Now it's rumored that taxi drivers know the best restaurants in town. When you were driving a taxi, what'd you eat? Where'd you go?
I didn't have a lot of money when I was doing that, but
All right, so what was the best cheap eat?
Are you telling me taxi cab drivers aren't bringing it in?
Well, not when you have a nickel a day cocaine habit. You tend not to bring it in so much. A lot of it was going to the gambling and blow, but I don't. Again, Lombardi's Pizza I used to go to all the time. That's become a bit of a tourist thing, but that's at 32 Spring Street, Lombardi's. But Ben's Pizza, right by the cellar. I've been going to that, the one on 3rd and McDougal.
Corner, yeah.
That's gone way downhill. But we used to go in the early mid '80s. We used to go buy weed in Washington Square Park, kind of get all fucked up, and then we'd go to get us a middle slice of Sicilian. It's not the same. The mozzarella would just melt all over your hand. It was fantastic. That place was great. Not the Ben's on Spring that Madonna loved. I hated that. That was in her book. That's the wrong Ben's. The Ben by Frank's by the cellar. That was amazing.
What about Joe's? That's by the cellar.
That's great. That's great pizza. That's great thing because they put the olive oil in the crust. They cook it with olive oil in the crust so it gets real flaky, the crust.
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy stole that recipe in Jersey.
I worked in a pizzeria for 8 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Where?
Long Island.
Oh, okay. Good pizza in Long Island. Brooklyn, Jersey, again, Long Island.
I was just reading a thing about pizza delivery, and if you've had a pizza delivered, the guy has eaten off of your pizza 99%.
I delivered pizza. I never ate off anyone's
You
pizza.
didn't?
Yeah.
Never.
Well,
you know why?
you have integrity.
You get whatever pizza you want in the pizzeria for free.
Yeah,
what the hell do I need your stupid pizza
people just
for?
try to be assholes, I
I think so. Or they just get bored driving.
They want to say, I did something to your pizza.
I guess it depends how fat your delivery guy is.
I was
right?
fat. I was 300 pounds. the owner wouldn't let me behind the counter. He was scared I was going to eat everything. He'd be like, you stay on the other side of the counter. I'll let you know when there's a delivery. And I was like,
that. That's great.
Italians are so honest.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, you stay over there. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Italians are known for honesty.
Favorite fast food? What do you got? What do you go for?
A Big Mac.
Big Mac.
Big Mac. Number one at McDonald's. That's my death.
Allie, what's your favorite fast food?
Taco Bell.
Anything in particular?
Yeah, nachos.
Nachos.
There you go.
Weiss?
I used to work at Chick-fil-A.
That's
Pretty
some
good.
Yeah.
Good sandwich
So
fries.
you hate the
can get
gays?
This is
Native
pre all that.
American.
Pre that.
Bigot over here.
Yep. That's good. That's it. Chick-fil-A is good, actually.
All right, it's time for DTF, Defending Trash Food. Chef Brian Tsao, defend one of your favorite trash food items.
All right. One of my favorite trash food items. My phone's going to blow up after I say this. McDonald's chicken nuggets with hot mustard. But they don't have the hot mustard anymore. They took it away from me.
They've also changed the chicken nuggets.
They also changed the chicken nuggets.
They used to be some weird.
It used to be
grayish
all the
meat.
guts and all this weird stuff, and it was delicious.
Yeah, it wasn't
I
chicken.
miss those nuggets.
Yeah.
It's a solid choice. It's not bad.
It was more nuggets than chicken.
Now we can't even get meat. Now you get the Impossible Burger or whatever it is.
Yeah,
we're not
I-
gonna be able to get meat anymore.
I tried that with Artie. We were on the
That's
road.
right.
I tried that burger.
That's right. I was like, why would you do
Yeah,
that?
How
it
was
wasn't
it?
a good choice.
That's like going to your Coke dealer for like a Red Bull.
Yeah, the texture's the same, but it doesn't have.
It doesn't taste?
I mean, I don't know. I get this. You know, I love these commercials where a construction worker, it tastes just like a Whopper. Yeah. Like he's not some gay actor you just hired.
I mean,
he's not a construction worker.
The appeal of Impossible Meat is that it can cook to a temperature, it bleeds out, and all that stuff. But my thought is like, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, isn't the whole thought of seeing your food bleed kind of revolting? I mean, I don't know.
It bleeds out like a rat on The Sopranos. First of all, any food with the word
I feel like
impossible in it.
that's a good commercial right there. I think Burger King, if you're listening, Artie's available.
any meat with the word impossible. I'm very hesitant.
It's impossible for the stone kid behind the counter to tell the difference. I'm telling you, he's going to be
Well, yeah,
feeding
no, of
people
course.
meat like, oh.
No, I love how people after the 30-second glass of wine, it's got to be a nice French Beaujolais. Like you could drink vinegar at that point.
I've worked with the Impossible Meat before. I mean, it's a very cool product, but I would never consume it myself. I mean,
It doesn't taste good, though. That's what I'm hearing from these guys.
It's bland. It's like, yeah, meat tastes better.
Well, I used to make meatballs out of it. I used to do these chashu meatballs with a kimchi slaw on it. It actually came out really, really nice. But again, like, why not just use the real thing?
That's what they call RuPaul's cock, the impossible meat. Again, my people were slaughtered.
It's a nice, safe food podcast.
Right.
What could happen? What could happen?
Well, this is what happens.
All right. This has been a real fun chat. Let's do some plugs real quick.
There you go.
Where are you going to be? Lance, Allie?
You can go.
I don't know. I have Bob and Tom every Wednesday, and I'm doing one of their shows in March. I don't have the date though, in West Virginia.
Okay.
I'm at Party with Lance everywhere, so continue the party.
Absolutely. That sounds good.
Bri?
I am Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical chef, consultant extraordinaire. You can find me where I'll be working at through Instagram mainly, at Chef Brian Tsao. Brian spelled with an I, Tsao spelled Tsao.
What are you doing to
Nice.
Beauty in Essex? I see you got the hat on.
Yeah, so I'm helping them through the busy season right now. Chris Santos, the chef and owner there, is a good buddy of mine, fellow metalhead, and I love my old team there. I was the chef de cuisine there for 2 years, and they are kind of short staffed, so they asked me to come back and help them out a couple days
That's
a week.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Artie, where are you going to be, buddy?
If you just go to artiequitter.com, you can find everything. Everything Artie Lange. Artie
Tomorrow,
Quitter.
and I'm opening for a bunch of dates for
That's
Artie,
right.
so I'm
Allie will
psyched
be
about
with me.
that,
It's a
so-
fun show. It's really
Yeah,
good. It's really
absolutely.
good. Yeah.
Cool. You can catch me and Lance every Sunday at the Comedy Cellar, 8:30 and 10:30. You can find me on Instagram at RRComedy or my website, RRComedy. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Happy cheating. Later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Cheat Day Show podcast. To learn more about our show, the hosts, the comedians, our guests, our chefs, and more, visit our website, thecheatdayshow.com. Also, follow along with us on our social media at The Cheat Day Show on Instagram and Twitter. Future episodes can be found in all the places you get your favorite podcast. Our show is also sponsored by the world-famous Comedy Cellar on McDougal Street in New York City's Greenwich Village. Visit ComedyCellar.com for show lineups happening 7 days a week. Later, cheaters.